And more on our island weather now. Will Hawaii be getting federal money to help homeowners rebuild after the massive flooding and devastation on Kauai and here on Oahu? It's a very complicated process, and getting the money is certainly no guarantee. And we've learned that some high-dollar damage won't be counted toward the federal threshold. Gina Mangieri always investigating, and tell us what that means.
When the epic flooding left behind scars like this across areas of the Garden Island, we wanted to know what it's going to take to assess the damage. Going on weeks, it's still being added up, not just in scope, but in cost. Also, who is going to pay for it and when? Damage assessment teams are going street by street, house by house on Kauai to take note of what was lost.
The information will be provided to the state emergency management agency, which then in turn will provide it to the governor, which the governor will be able to use that data in a request for a disaster declaration if he chooses.
Vern Miyagi, retired state emergency administrator who went through the Hurricane Iniki aftermath, was asked to help out in Hai'ima's Kauai flood response and damage tally. He told the county council the Joint Preliminary Damage Assessment, or JPDA, should be done Friday. A report compiled over the weekend turned into the governor and says Governor Ige should be able by May 4th to submit a declaration request to the feds. If Washington issues a declaration, Miyagi says it could be by May 10th. There's no set damage number that clears the bar for federal help. It's a matrix of things like per capita impact, drain on local government resources, how recent a last disaster hit, even private insurance in force, or severity and count of dwellings damaged.
We're very much trying to qualify people for the individual assistance. We're trying to find, as bad as it sounds, we actually want to find more damaged properties because it will help the community that really needs it.
Ballpark, island-wide, what do you think the count might come out to at the end?
It's still difficult to say. We have seen at least 100 homes so far, or been self-reported from some of the areas we can't reach, that have either major damage or have been completely destroyed.
But to count for the federal threshold, those have to be people's primary homes. And a lot of the worst damaged, highest value structures are second homes and vacation rentals. Like this one owned by folks in Oregon. That house got swept away in the Wainiha area. Could have been even worse.
That home we recently actually had cited through our enforcement process as an illegal transit vacation rental. On March 22nd, we issued a notice of violation and a cease and desist. They actually came in relatively quickly and were able to work out that they were going to shut down, and they gave to us verification right before the flood that they had canceled their most recent reservation, which was scheduled for 2 guests from April 15th to April 19th. So they would have been in the flood zone had that happened.
If and when federal help comes, it will likely be for 2 kinds of programs.
We provide assistance to help fund repair or replacement of public infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, utility lines. There's a individual assistance program where we can help homeowners and renters with rental assistance and some home repair. The U.S. Small Business Administration becomes active, and they can provide low-interest loans to homeowners.
FEMA's individual assistance payouts are limited at $34,000 per household if we get that presidential disaster declaration.
Is really just a helping hand to help homeowners and survivors on their way to recovery. Most of the assistance and recovery that they're going to find helpful is from either their insurance or the low-interest loans.
I think the people who maybe don't have insurance or adequate insurance, or certainly maybe don't have flood insurance, and are living there as their primary residence, those are the people that are trying desperately to get that gap money from FEMA.
We'll be following up closely on all of the damage assessments, also where the funding is going to come from to get normalcy back to the Garden Island. Reporting from Kauai, Gina Mangieri, KHON 2 News.